Until the mid-90s, this site used to be a storage site for gas and oil and other chemicals before it was shut down. Since then, it has not been developed, and that's something that the current owner wants to change. Meanwhile, some East Austin natives are vowing to fight it every step of the way. This is Susana Almanza. She's no stranger to activist work. In fact, she has some 50 years of experience under her belt.
Being here all my life, I've seen what has happened to the 5th and 6th Street corridor when there were mom and pop businesses run by Latinos.
Things have changed around these parts since those times. But for Susana, one of those changes remains one of her biggest triumphs.
One of the major organizing that we did was to close down and relocate the toxic tank farm.
This 52-acre space used to be home to a large compound of tanks, storage units for gas and oil products. Except somewhere along the way, something went wrong.
Benzene was being spewed out into the community 720 times over the allowable rate, and benzene is a known carcinogen. So we helped close down this really toxic tank farm.
Susana says, thanks in part to activists who put the spotlight on the tank farm, an investigation that followed uncovered a broken vapor recovery system, meaning soil and groundwater underneath the tank farm was contaminated, and that predominantly black and brown families on the east side bore the brunt of that damage.
Children would have these nosebleeds and the parents didn't know, and they were having rashes and the parents didn't know why, and they were being misdiagnosed. It was because they were feeling the full effect of emissions.
After being exposed, the last oil and gas company agreed to close down on the east side in 1993.
It was one of the biggest victories ever for the grassroots community because within 1 year, they had all closed down and relocated.
Since then, this massive space has gotten cleaned up, and it stayed undeveloped. For Susana, this was a badge of honor, one that meant finally underserved communities would live in peace and thrive. But
it is the new people, the gentrifiers, that are really benefiting from people of color struggle that closed down this toxic tank farm.
As soon as the east side became inhabitable and profitable, according to Susana, those who worked to make it that way were slowly beginning to get pushed out.
We're seeing a long-term legacy of racism through zoning, and the council is very much aware of it, but because of money and the developers, they are giving in.
And to her, the latest example of it is a plan to rezone this space and with it, bring in one of the tallest structures in the area.
60 feet, yes!
93, no!
A 93-foot tall building, bypassing the standard of 60 feet.
It's not that we're against the project. We think that the project can be done at 60 feet. It's a good project, but it is exceeding that level of standards and that height, and also the benefits. We think the community package benefit should be adhered to.
And that's been the other sticking point, is how much of the new development will invest in community benefits. There have been negotiations between the developer and community leaders about that dollar amount, and in a council meeting earlier this month, an attorney for the developer said the benefits package has been negotiated up.
We had subsequent meetings with the contact teams where we were presented with more ideas for community benefits, which we responded to by taking the suggestions and increasing our package by $925,000.
And in the most recent council meeting, city leaders approved this plan, meaning change is inevitable. The next chapter of this space is already being written.
Such a long fight, and who's really benefiting from the struggle to clean up this area?
While those who helped write the beginning are left wondering when their time might come.